Hello and welcome back to your English 5 a day on the Elan podcast. This is a short daily podcast for intermediate to advanced level English learners who want to build natural English vocabulary through stories and real life English. My name is Anna, and this is week 6, day 1 of our story following Gabriel. Now, this week, Gabriel arrives in York, a city shaped by centuries of history, where layers of the past are still visible in the streets, the buildings, and even the way people move through the city. Supporting materials for today's lesson are available at www.joinelan.com/plus, P-L-U-S. So let's begin today's episode with a snapshot of what's to come. As Gabriel explores York, he walks along cobbled streets lined with weathered buildings. The city feels timeless, with arched doorways and towering landmarks rising above him at every turn. There we go. So let's break down this vocabulary, looking at 5 words I just used, starting with timeless. If something is described as timeless, then it's not affected by time. It's always appealing or relevant. For example, the old city had a timeless quality. Next, we have cobbled. Cobbled. This means it's made from rounded stones set closely together. In the past, many streets were cobbled streets. For example, I might say, they walked along a narrow cobbled street. Next, we have the word weathered. Weathered. Just think about the weather, like the wind, the rain. Weathered means something is worn or shaped by age and exposure to the elements, to the heat, the cold, the rain, the wind. It is weathered. If I'm outside too long in the storm, then I feel weathered by the time I get back indoors. Here's an example sentence. The weathered stone told its own story. Next, we have the word arched. Arched. We spell this A-R-C-H-E-D. Arched. If something is arched, then it has a curved structure, often above a doorway or window. I love arched doorways and arched windows. For example, I might say, they passed beneath an arched entrance. Finally, we have towering. Towering. This means very tall. Think of a tower. Very tall and impressive in height. Towering. For example, the cathedral stood towering above the rooftops. Wonderful. Now, I'd like you to listen carefully, as those words will appear naturally in today's story time. Gabriel arrived in York early Monday morning. He was charmed by the cobbled streets, but it was a pain trying to drag his suitcase around on them. Once he dropped his luggage off, he really started enjoying himself. The city immediately felt timeless, each weathered building whispering stories from centuries past. He wandered through narrow alleys, occasionally glancing up at the towering York Minster Cathedral, which rose majestically above the surrounding roofs. Each archway seemed deliberately constructed to impress, and beckoned him to explore what lay beyond it. Gabriel paused frequently, wanting to absorb every detail of the intricately carved door frames. Stopping by a small square, he noticed a statue gleaming in the morning light. He admired the tall, decorative stone windows of the guild hall and the picturesque shambles, with its timber-framed buildings leaning slightly as though they were sharing secrets with each other. Passers-by moved briskly around him, yet he felt oddly serene, walking deliberately and taking in the quiet grandeur of the city. He imagined merchants from hundreds of years ago moving purposefully along the same streets. Gabriel hired a bike. He had got plenty of miles in his legs walking the Peak District, so he thought they deserved some rest. Besides that, York had a different character to Liverpool and Manchester, so he felt like trying a different approach. There are two major rivers passing through Lyon, the Rhône and the Saône. They are much longer and wider than the River Ouse, but Gabriel was enchanted by the 9 beautiful arched stone bridges that cross it. He didn't realise how hungry he was until he saw people feeding the swans, ducks and other waterfowl by Lendal Bridge. He looked around for a restaurant and somewhere to park his bike. No way, he thought to himself. There, on the riverbank.
Sophie!
All right, let's pause there and bring today's descriptive language back into focus. I'm going to recap the 5 items of vocabulary we targeted at the beginning of this episode. And as I touch on each one, I want you to repeat it out loud after me. Are you ready? Here goes. Timeless. Timeless. Timeless means not affected by time, is always appealing, is always relevant. Next we have cobbled. Cobbled. This describes something, usually a path or road, that is made from rounded stones set closely together. Next, weathered. Weathered. This describes something that's worn or shaped by age and exposure to the elements. Next, arched. Arched. This describes something that has a curved structure, like a doorway or window. And last, we have towering. Towering. Fantastic. Yes, this is something very tall and impressive in height. So there we are. That's our 5. And that brings us to the end of today's episode. But Gabriel's day in York is only just getting started. Tomorrow, Gabriel discovers that York has a darker side as he reads about haunted houses, eerie legends, and a ghost tour that promises a spine-chilling experience. That's all from me for today. If you are enjoying the podcast, then please take a moment to leave a like, a rating or review. That really helps others to find the podcast. And if you want to take your English learning further, then consider becoming a Podcast Plus member. Details are in the show notes. Until tomorrow, take good care of yourself and goodbye.